Shalom, Yahweh Shem Shah Thon to all the brothers, Shalom Yahweh Shamar, Thon by Shem Shah to all the sisters, all right? I HBK Minnesota with the Lashawan Qadash class. We have a few things to go over. Selecting once again for the time. All right, so Baba Gashar, if y'all don't mind, I'm gonna give selecting. Let me see 1 second. Yeah, so once again, this ISK Minnesota Lashawan Qadash class. I'm just going to take up, some time of your time as we get over this. Of course, once again, the time right now we're a little late, but we're here right now, so we are going to go over a few things that I want to go over actually about maybe 2 weeks ago. Okay. So based on certain things that we learned in the past couple of weeks, we are actually going to go over some of them, not everything, but just some things in today's class. All right. Once again, if anybody has any questions, concerns, so on and so forth, go ahead and ask them in the chat. I'll get to them, and we'll just attack it right away. Okay. Otherwise, I want everybody to like, subscribe, comment, share the content. Also, too, make sure that you pay your tithes. If you are looking at the ISBK breakdowns, the classes, pay your tithes to the ISBK. Especially if you are applying all these things that we are bringing out for free on the internet, pay your tithes. That's what you do. Everyone has to pay their tithes because it is the law, right? It is the law. Now the Christian church, they want 30%. The Lord wants 10%, and that is in the Bible. And if you want those precepts, those scriptures, we got it for you. And let you know that when you pay your tithes, it helps the nation of Israel in the ISBK. When you pay tithes in the Christian church, it's helping the pastor, the bishop. You know what I mean? It's not helping the congregation who needs it the most. Your hospital bills are not being paid. Your light bill, your internet bill, whatever the case may be. There's no food in your refrigerator. There's no clothes on your back. But in the ISBK, when you pay your tithes and you come to class, you are a student, an officer, captain, general. You are a sister who's putting in work. You will see the result of all the things that you have been putting in as far as your tithes. And I mean, it's so much deeper than that. You know what I mean? But pay your tithes, man. It's very important. When you fall down bad, you know what I mean, you are going to get the help if you are doing your part. Paying your tithes, coming to camp, coming to class. You know what I mean? Contributing to the school. All right? There's so many ways that you can apply yourself in the UPK. So do that. Don't be lazy, man. All right? So anyway, let's get to it. So as I mentioned last week, right, we always are going to start off with the alphabet. Okay? The alphabet, once again, we should always start out with this because there may be new people every week. And if there are new people every week, they have to know what this is. All right? So just like ABCs, this is the Hebrew version of ABCs. All right? All the way to Sh. Okay? So we are going to get into it in a second. All right? Otherwise, once again, share the content. Tag people that you know who enjoy language. A little bit of history, because history goes into the language, especially in Minnesota. I like to teach on history and language and so on and so forth. So you're going to get a little bit of both. All right? Any questions or concerns that you may have about anything, put it in the chat and we'll get to it. All right? Whether it's now or later. Okay? All right. So Once again, hey, shalom, Lord Christ to everyone. All right. Let's see here. All right. So once again, shalom, Yahweh Shem Shabbat to the brother Trooper Kawan Allah, shalom, Yahweh Shamar, Allah, Bashim Yahweh Shah, to the sister Lashawan. All right. The water for y'all joining in. Okay. I see y'all serious about learning this language. All right. So we have first things first. We have the okay. Now everything is right to left, not left to right. Okay. In Esau's world, everything starts from the left, not the right. In ancient Hebrew, everything is from the right to the left. So we are going to start with the first letter of the ancient Hebrew. Ba, ga, da, ha, wa, za, ka, ta, ya, and ka. Now, these two may sound the same, right, or similar, but they are not. You have the ka and the ka, all right? Like how you say kite, right? This is ka, not cha. Never say cha, always say ka. You want to be aggressive with it. Like, for example, we have a captain, a strong captain in the UPK, Captain Kataza, right? Kataza, not Chataza, right? It's not cha, it's ka, okay? So, ka, ta, ya, ka. We have the la, the ma, the na, the sa, the I. Pa, ta, za, qua, ra, and sha. Okay? And in the future, I will be having brothers and sisters join into the actual class live and actually, you know, read off the entire letters of the ancient Hebrew, otherwise known as Paleo Hebrew. Okay? All right, so let's get into it. Now, every time that we do Lashawan Qadash, I want to show you an example of how to use each letter of the ancient Hebrew. And that's what I'm going to get into right now, because I know time is going to be running any second. Now, starting off with right? A-H. We are going to do a Hebrew word for each letter that there is, starting off with the letter, okay? So, now let me know if you guys can see this word or not. Give me a 1 if you can see the word on the screen. I don't want to write it too big or too small. So let me know if you can see it. All right, most sign in Christ. All right. The water, just I appreciate it. Okay. All right, so you have the word Allah, right? Allah. Now the key to this is going to be the A-H, which is the first letter of the ancient Hebrew, otherwise the Paleo, right? So Allah. What does a lot mean? Actually, but yeah, before I even get into that, let me see. Actually, I'll get into that a little bit later. So, a lot. Oh, okay. Oh, you know what? The water. The water. The water boy, I appreciate that. The water. All right. All right. Yeah, I do appreciate that. The water. Yes. So like you also got the thaw as well. All right. Just moving a little fast here because I ain't got too much time. All right. Let's see. Okay. All right, so I'm just going to write the Hebrew words first, and then we are going to get into what it actually means in the actual in English. The Hebrew first, and the English. Okay. All right. So we got the "ba," right? Now, just for the space, I might write it sideways. Uh, there's not a whole lot of space right here, so I might write it sideways for some of the letters. Otherwise, I'm gonna do my best. All right. So next word is going to be "bayah." Okay. Bayah. Yeah. Nice way to start. And a lot of these words are just examples, right? This is gamak, gamak. And since I can't write out the entire ancient Hebrew, you should write it on your own, on your paper. All right, your notebook. No sweat, no sweat. And that's why you got other brothers and sisters who are paying attention, who actually study the Hebrew, to know when it's there and when it's not there. So, no sweat. It's all good. You got brothers and sisters who help you out. All right. All right. So now the duh. Yeah. All right. So for the duh, right, we have DALATH. The la for the duh. Okay. All right. You have the huh, which is next. And the reason why I'm writing it sideways is because I'm going to have to put the English underneath it, because everything's kind of close together. You know what I mean? That's how we're going to do it. The what? Okay. We have the Z. We have the K. All right. The T. All right. We have the Y. We have the K. All right. Now we have the L. Now this one's going to be different. Okay. That's going to be different since it's at the bottom. Once again, these are random words that we are going to go over in the future Lashawan Qadash. All right, for the N. All right. Okay, the 1, right? For the S. We already went over this word about maybe a week or two. Samak. For the I. Ayan. For the P. All right, for the Z. All right, for this one, Qua. Okay. Understand that each letter is separate. All right. If it's a little bit close, understand. Start off with when it starts off with right here the letter. Taza. T-A-Z-A. All right. That should help you out. Okay. Ra'ash. So some of these words may be close, but I will break it down for you in a second. We got Sha. Okay. One second. All right, 1 second. All right, 1 second here. All right. 1 second. Okay, here we go. All right. All right. All right. I'm sitting here. All right. All right. So now, in order to really understand the Hebrew, we are going to use examples, right? As far as starting off with the letters, and of course, we have examples on the board. Starting off with the actual first two letters, or maybe four or more, right? We are going to use the base and create a word with it, which is on the board, and we are going to break it down into the English. Okay? And this is really a good example, just to show how to not only pronounce the word, but also to how to pronounce the actual letters. And why that's so important is because some people have already studied what's called Yiddish, which is, a bastardized way of learning Hebrew. And that's something that we all have to be very cautious of, because we might be learning, instead of saying shalom, we might learn shalom, which is not something that we say in EPK, because there are no vowels, all right, in the ancient Hebrew. Shalom with an O instead of an A. That's not Hebrew. That's something completely opposite that we do not teach in EPK, once again. All right. Let me see here. So like, y'all bear with me 1 second. I gotta find something. Okay. All right. 1 second. All right. All right. So with a lot, right? Now, once again, I'm not going to write the Hebrew in here because there's not a whole lot of space. So a lot, right? A lot in Hebrew means cow. That's what it means, cow. That thing that you like to eat if you like beef. If you like a hamburger, you like, hamburger helper, whatever the case may be, the cow, okay? That hamburger meat. That's what a lot means. And the key word, of course, is going to be the a lot, cow. All right. The next one is going to be Bayath. Bayath in Hebrew is going to be home, the place where you dwell. All right, home. Gamak. Gamak is a Hebrew word for camel. Okay, camel. By the way, a camel is absolutely unlawful to eat. Just to let everybody know. Also, to do me a favor, for the brothers and sisters who are online, if y'all want a class on the dietary laws as far as what is lawful and what is unlawful to eat, put it in the chat. Put 144 in the chat. If you want me to do a class about what is lawful and unlawful to eat, breaking it down, and also too, the history behind it and how to break it down in the Hebrew. Put 144 in the chat. No, 144. 124, that's funny. 144. All right. Hey, damn right, says Most High in Christ. All right. All right. So, let me see. Okay. All right. So now the la, right? Starting with the duh. The la. The la. Okay. It means door. Okay. All right. Door. Now, hana. What does hana mean? Behold. Now, don't get confused with okay, you have certain words that look similar to hana. You have hawa'a, haya'a. You might have hana or hana'a. They're all different. But hana, H-A, the ha and the na and the ha, hana is going to be behold. All right? And you may see that word throughout the Bible a lot. Oh, damn right, sis. Hey, most high in Christ. Damn right. Absolutely right. And let that be a lesson because, I mean, we always say in EPK, don't forget what you already know. If you think you know something, you want to be very careful because there's precepts about that as well. You thinking that you know something. The only reason why we know the Bible the way that we do as prophets and priests is because of the Most High. He has gave us a spirit, which is His spirit. He has put it upon us to, break it down, decipher, um, to handle orders, situations, build up a nation, go to war in many aspects, etc., etc. The Most High has gave us that ability to do so. But without the Most High, we are nothing. That's why we always say we ain't shit, because we're not. Like a strong captain, he said, I'm just a wicked nigga trying to be righteous. And that wasn't even like that wasn't even a bar. You feel me? Like he was really saying like I'm a wicked nigga trying to be righteous. Every day he's striving to be righteous. Not saying that he's wicked, but in his past life he was garbage. But this new life that he's striving for is righteousness. Because any day, any time, you can backslide, which the Bible tells you how to be careful about. Because many things can trip you up to backslide. You feel me? And if you are a sinner, you are in the world. Just understand that. All right? If you are committing sins, you are not in the truth. Because the truth doesn't allow you to sin. The truth allows you to keep the law. So you could be back and forth. That's why the Bible says, it speaks about, well, Christ talked about this as far as being lukewarm. You want to be very careful, all right? You don't want to be in the middle. You want to be on one side. Either you're on the side of the Most High or on the other side, where Satan is at, where all the demons is chilling and, have a whole congregation about that. You feel me? Like, you got to be careful. You got to know what you want, what you're choosing, what you're going after. Every day that you are waking up and you're living your life, you have to know what the mission is for the day. Like serving the Most High is more than, like it should be on your mind 24/7. Yes, you have to get up and go to work. You got kids to take care of. You got family to take care of. You got yourself to take care of. You got a husband, you got a wife to take care of. You got so many other personal responsibilities, but the main priority is the Most High. Always remember that. Understand, like a Friday class, right? Like, I mean, I could be doing anything else in the world, doing anything else in general. I could be sleeping, relaxing, be at work, more overtime. But I decide to take this more serious because this is the main priority. Yes, we gotta, survive. We have to work. We have to make money to provide and live and survive, right? But at the same time, I make time for the Most High and for the nation of Israel. And that's how you got to see it. That's how it has to be. Otherwise, you got to ask yourself, what are we doing when it comes to being in the UPK? All right? That's very important every single day that you get up, that you acknowledge that you are still alive, even though you know that you should be 6 feet under the ground. Okay? Including myself. All right? These things are important. This is very important right here. Ukraine and all the wars going on, no sweat. That has nothing to do with the nation of Israel. This is where we focus on our language. We focus in class on how to stop being disgusting, to learn how to, get back to our culture, our traditions, and how to better ourselves as a nation, as a whole. That's what's important. Ukraine, whatever the else got, the world has going on, it doesn't concern us. And don't concern yourself. Stay focused, stay diligent, and also to be what's the word? Vigilant. I can never say it right. Still out there. Vigilant. All right. I can speak Hebrew better than I can English. Okay. But all right. Anyway, let's get to it. Hey, Most High. Okay. Hey, Officer Shaw. Hey, Most High in Christ for you. The what? Perfect precept. Hey, Young Bosses, once again, I ain't shit. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to do what I was called to do, and that's it. Otherwise, I'm a dead man. So wasted nothing but time. The Bible does say many are called, but few are chosen. And you have to ask yourself, are you called to be chosen or what? Or is it the other way around? Many are called, but few are chosen. Many people will be called to do the work of the Lord, but not everybody will uphold, that oath. You feel me? Like a lot of people will not take heed to what the Most High wants them to do, and because of that, they end up in bad, terrible situations or dead. That's what you have to, think about every day. And I pray that you understand that right now is not the time to play around with your life, because of everything that's happening on the earth, you could be next. Don't think that you cannot end up like the brothers and sisters who are hashtags, who are all over the news, who people still talk about to this day. Trayvon Martin, it can happen to you. When we talk about the young children are dying, it can happen to yours. We're talking about the older generation of, grandparents, aunties, uncles, mothers, and fathers. That can be you next. Don't play with your life. When the Most High told you and asked you, well, so like not even asked you, when the Most High called you to do something, it's better that you do it. And even when you believe that this is not the lifestyle on how you should live and how you should be, ask yourself this: how is life for you right now? See what the Most High is offering you versus what you are doing right now in your life. Is life good for you? And be honest with yourself. Don't lie to yourself. Because all the drugs, all the gang banging, all the whores, that's not a good life. Life in the world is nothing but hell. That's why you get high. That's why you get drunk. That's why you sleep around with multiple people. That's why you sell yourself short in every way possible. You are in every religion. First you was a Christian, now you're a Muslim. Now into Buddhism. Now you Hotep. Like, which one is it? Like, figure out, like the direction of your life. And if you are a Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian by blood, it's time for you to come home. And if you are home, make sure that you stay your ass home. When those street lights come out, and when I say street lights as a metaphor, when those demons come out, make sure that you stay home. Get yourself into a place where you are protected and safe. And that is the IHBK, our sanctuary. All right, let's keep going. So now we have the what? What? Okay? It sounds funny because like children might say, instead of saying water, they say, I want what? I want water, right? Especially all my nieces and nephews. But what? Which is a word that means fork. Okay, a fork, the utensil that you eat with. All right, fork. Now, kawama, also like Zion. Zion or so like I say Zion, but it's Zion. Zion, okay, which means weapon, right? It means weapon. All right, weapon. Zayan. Okay. And we have a strong camp leader in Minnesota, Qadash Zayan. Now some people might say Qadash Zayan, but it's really Qadash Zayan. All right. So weapon. All right. Kawama. Kawama. Now we know ma is definitely a key word that we learned about last week. Okay? Kawama. Kawama, which means wall. W-A-L-L. Wall. All right? Then we have the ta. Tana'a. That's how you pronounce it. Tana'a. Which means bag. So bag like a purse, bag like a backpack, or bag like some people say plastic bag or a sack, which is something that holds holds objects. Okay, maybe a backpack, a suitcase. Bag, a suitcase, plastic bag, grocery bag. Things of that sort. Backpack, a purse, a pouch. All right. All right. So let's go on. Yeah. Or still like, not yeah, my bad. So yeah. Yud is going to be your hand, your actual hand. Oh, damn it. Our hand. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So Y-A-D. Yeah. Yad or yad is how you pronounce it, which means hand. All right. So cup. So not cup, but cup. 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 So cup. Right? And what this means here is palm. P-A-L-M. Palm. Cup. So not C-U-P. Yeah, not C-U-P, but cup. K-A-P. All right. Now, if you add a C there, it's going to be cap. But cup. All right. So now we have the la. Lamad. Lamad in Hebrew means learn. Okay, learn. Mayum. Mayum is a very common word that we studied months ago. And not just months ago, but also too, maybe a couple of weeks ago, actually. All right. Mayum. Mayum is just another word for saying water. And for the brothers who are going through Hebrew Academy, this is what water means in Hebrew, and I'm sure all you brothers have heard this before. Mayum, which means water. Okay? Now, of course, the key word for the ma right here is mayum, right here. Now we have the no one. The one is a word that means sprout. S-P-R-O-U-T, sprout. Now, for this word, never mind. I'll just go ahead and get this one. Samak. Sawamak was a word that was used a couple of weeks ago concerning weather, right? But the root word of it is different. Samak, which means established. So, established. Okay. Now, if the brother, you know, if the brother officer Mugabar is on the chat or it's like on the live, what does the word ayan mean? Or anybody else in the chat who's watching? Does anybody know what ayan means? Because this is one of the Hebrew words that we went over a while ago. Anybody that's watching, anybody that's looking at the chat, what does ayan mean? Let's say that you don't know what the word means, right? What you can do is put it in the Hebrew, type it into blueletterbible.org. Otherwise, you can, if you have that app that I gave you last week, as far as the Bible dictionary, you can type it in there as well. All right, give y'all a second. All right, so ayan means eye. Ayan is pretty much in the name. It means eye. Okay, your actual eye. So now puh. You have the puh, and then you have puh as the actual Hebrew word. This is mouth. Okay, mouth. It's mouth. Puh is mouth. Okay, another part of the body. Now, tazah, tazad, tazad. That's how you pronounce that. And it's a simple word which means no sweat. So ayan, of course, means eye, right? So ayan means eye. Pa means mouth, and tazad means side, like your actual side. All right, side. That's what that means. Okay. So the next one's going to be qua. Qa. You have the word right here, which is qawash. You got the qua, the wa, and the sha, qawash. And this word means snare. And of course, reading the book of Proverbs, the book of Ecclesiasticus, so on and so forth, we should know what snare means, according to the Bible. If you ever heard of the precepts about how you would be in snare and nets, meaning you would be in a trap, okay? So that should give you an idea of what it's speaking about. Now, the next one's going to be the ruh. R-A, Ra. And the key word, of course, is Ra. The word is Ra'ash. Ra'ash. This is another Hebrew word that we went over for a few weeks now. Okay? Off and on, off and on. Ra'ash. Ra'ash. Which means head. Head or first. But mainly, it does mean head. Okay? All right, it means head or first. Because the head is the first thing that is on, it's the first thing that's on your body. And also, too, when you go into the hospital, things of that sort, that's mainly the first thing that they ask about is, how's your head? Because that's where everything starts. The brain function, the brain, everything starts with the head. Because that's the most important part of the body. And then everything else comes second, third, and last. All right? The head of the household. Everything has to start with the top before it gets to the bottom. That's why you have first place, second place, last place. All those things matter. If you want to say one in Hebrew, it's going to be akkad. But based on the context, you might use Ra'ash as number one instead of akkad, which I've also explained weeks ago concerning the Lashawan Qadash. All right, now we have, this is Shun, right? Not Shan. It's Shun. You have the Sh and the Na. Shun, okay? And Shun, in Hebrew, what this means is teeth. Okay? It means teeth in Hebrew. All right? Okay? That's what that means. All right, let me see. All right. Now, lastly, we have the Thamayam. Now, there's a brother in the school by this name, Thamayam, right? And this is a beautiful name, by the way. And this name means perfect. Okay? Some may have heard of the brother. Some may have not. But Thamayam as an example, the Mayam, which means perfect. Now, of course, the Mayam by itself means water. But of course, when you have another letter or so in the front or after a so-called, root word or keyword, the meaning of the entire word changes. All right? And we spoke about that weeks and months ago, which is very important. And we are going to really go over this over and over again in different ways, just so that you understand and how to really, write it out, pronounce it, and things of that sort. Okay? And that's really what the Hebrew is. Like, you're going over your language over and over in different ways just to try to understand it. All right? So, of course, you have the ba, ga, da, ha, wa, za, ka, ta, ya, ka, la, ma, na, sa, I, pa, ta, za, kwa, ra, sha, and tha. Like, also, too, like, practices every single day. With practices, of course, it's going to make perfect. If you don't use this, you are going to lose it. So what you want to do is practice this all the time to make sure that you don't forget. So of course, this is why we use examples. And we are we are going to continue to do this often, just so that we know how to exactly, pronounce each letter in the ancient Hebrew. Okay? For some people, a lot of people, if I may, on social media in person, they mispronounce the Hebrew, and it's not good. We want to perfect our own language. We try to perfect every other language that really has no ties to the nation of Israel or to the Most High. When Adam created this is for us to know and to communicate with the Most High with. Now we have to communicate with each other with our own language, besides Spanish, English, patois, wherever else that you might be on this earth, but you're an Israelite and you know a different language. The main one to know about is the ancient Hebrew, otherwise known as the Paleo Hebrew. Okay? That's very, very important. Otherwise, what are we doing here if we don't know our own language? All right, so let me see here. So once again, let me go over the words. We have Allah, with the keyword which means cow, bayat, which is the ba, home, gamak, with the ga as the root, camel, dalath, with the da, door, that's what it means in English, hana, which means behold in the English, ha is going to be the base, wa, which means fork, zayan is weapon in English, the base being the za, khawama is how you say it a little bit faster, which is wall. The kh is the base. We have tana'a. Tana'a is how, like, if you said la'a, tana'a is how you would pronounce it, which means bag. The base is ta, ta. Now we have the yad or yad, which is hand, with the ya as the base. We have cup, which is palm, with ka as the base. We have lamad, which is learn in the English, the base being the la. We have mayam, which is water, the ma being the base. Nawan, Nawan, in English, sprouts, the na being the base. We have samak, which we went over not too long ago concerning the weather. Breaking that down as far as how to say certain words in Hebrew concerning weather. That's going to be established in English, sa as the base. Then we have ayan, which is I in English, I as the base in Hebrew. We have pa, pa, pa as the Hebrew, mouth as in English, as far as the definition. Now we have tazad, or better yet, Yep, so we have tazad. In English, it means side. In Hebrew, is tazad as the base. All right, as the letter, as the root word, or the root of it. Now we have kwash, which is Hebrew for snare. The kwa is going to be the root of this word, the base. We have the ra as the base. Ra'ash is going to be the Hebrew